All right, we are live. I just wanted to come on a few minutes early to check in with everybody. It looks like we have a lot of information happening right now around XRP and ETF demand. We also got some information and news from the OCC today about crypto and banks being able to use crypto for gas fees. And I thought that was an important thing. We also have a bunch of kind of clips from around the space. We'll talk about it. We'll play it. Won't be a super long stream today. Just wanted to check in with you guys. There's just so much going on right now with the news. I've been trying to keep up with it all, and things are just so crazy. But hey, how's it going? John Patak with a new member. Appreciate you, John. Welcome, man. Thank you so much. Oh, Nicole's here. Great to see you, Nicole. One path, one way. Great to see you. We got the looks like Oscar the Grouch and a nice high smiley face or the hand thing going. What's up? Nice to see you. Cruz. What's up, Sensei? We're back at it again. We are. Jack here is checking in. Looks like Jack likes BMWs. Jack, I was a BMW person for a long time. So hope you're enjoying that car that you are driving. Carlo Garcia, let's get ready. ETFs are about 5 to 10 days too slowly trickle in. I hope I'm right. The more ETF, the better. You are right, Carlo. Great to see you. Scott's checking in from the outer island. Great to see you, Scott. What's up? What's up? Obsidian Portal, great to see you, man. I've been working on some more content about the basics, right? I just released a video. It was last night about Interledger Protocol. I'm working on a basic video around Ripple and XRP. I remembered you were asking for some newer content that kind of rolls out the basics. So I have been working on that. I haven't forgot about you. So I appreciate you. I hope everything is good in your world. Let's see here. Sacro, top bro, and one. Thanks. I don't know what that means, but aloha, my friend. Great to see you. We got Jake here. Great to see you, Jake. How's it going, my friend? Noah's checking in. What's up, Noah? Chris is here. We got Oliver. What's up, Oliver? Saying aloha. Great to see you. Ariana's here to keep the chat safe. Ready to pump big shrimp. Great to see you, man. How's it going? Mark Abbott's all the way from the UK. Great to see you, Mark. Always nice to see you in the chat here. Kevin Oliver here. Hello. Thank you for all you help us with anytime, man. I think it's an absolute pleasure to wake up every day and live the dream, being able to research all of this fun technology and to kind of share that passion with people is something that I would have never dreamed that I wanted to do. And it's just kind of fell right into it. And it's a really unbelievable feeling. Hope checking in from Vegas. Hope it's not too hot out there. How's Vegas doing? I always see kind of in the news that like tourist kind of stuff is down, but they're still kind of making a bunch of money with the high rollers and things like that. But I was watching stuff on like prices for like food and drinks, and things are just like crazy right now. But maybe you can kind of share how things are going. So CJ Smith said, did Franklin Templeton ETF go live today? So mixed news. I think like it went. Let's double check on that, because I saw some information that it was going live on like SIBO, and then it was going live on NASDAQ next week. But let's just jump right into that, man. I think that's a great question. I've been working on a bunch of different stuff today, but let's just jump right into that. Let's go. Give me a complete update on Franklin Templeton Spot XRP ETF. Did it launch today on SIBO? SIBO. What is the plan for NASDAQ? We will get you the information right now. Let's pull this up. Let's share the screen, and let's get your answer to your question, CJ, because it's a great question. So Franklin Templeton Spot XRP ETF trading under ticker EasyXRP launched today on SIBO. So this is a much smaller exchange, Chicago Board Options Exchange. Let me just show you like how big is SIBO compared to NYSE, according, I think there's 3 of them, right? How big is SIBO compared to the other 2 markets? List everything. Let me get that information for you real quick. All right. So yeah, just to show you this, right? The New York Stock Exchange, 31 trillion. NASDAQ is 30 trillion. And SIBO, where's SIBO? SIBO is like billions, right? It's not trillions. Where's the information? Primarily recognized as the world's leading options and derivatives marketplace. 20 million contracts. It doesn't really tell you how much though, huh? How much value is on SIBO? So it looks like it did launch on SIBO, but the one that's really important is going to be the New York Stock Exchange. Let's see here. SIBO today, November 18th, following the completion of the S1 early analyst predictions, Coinbase custody. As of today, there's no verified evidence that Franklin Templeton's ETF launching on NASDAQ alongside SIBO debut. Yeah, so next week, I believe on the 18th. No, excuse me. Sorry. It should be on. Oh, when is that? Hold on. When is Franklin Templeton spot XRP on all what are the hard dates? Yeah, I think it was launching on SIBO, and then let me just pull this up. It's not really pulling up the date though. I think it's a few days later. November 24th. There it is. I think November 24th, which I think is it Monday? Hold on. I think it goes live next Monday. Yeah, Monday the 24th. That's when it's supposed to. Could it happen sooner? Absolutely, but that is I know it's confusing. You're seeing some information probably that it's launched, some information that it hasn't, but that's the reason. It's launching on two different places. The SIBO is a lot smaller, so we want the bigger one, like the $30 trillion one. And I'll bring you all the updates and everything when we get them. You know, I'm trying to keep up with it all, but it is so much stuff, man. It is crazy the amount of news. I'm trying, like, I usually am making, 3 videos a day. Some days I'm making like 4, some days like 5. It's just, I'm trying to keep up with all of it. And it's just crazy how quickly the market is moving. And I know it doesn't seem like that because the prices are kind of, trading sideways or even down, right? But there's just like so much news happening with institutions and all that stuff, but I will try to keep you updated. So Nicole says, Sensei, I think you should create an XRP crypto book for children. Everything out there is Bitcoin. My grandson is super interested, and I'm just not that knowledgeable to explain things. That is a very interesting suggestion, Nicole. I have no experience in that, but let me look into that. I'll have my team see what they can do. I don't know, I don't know how, adults have a problem understanding cryptocurrencies. So, explaining XRP to maybe like an 8-year-old. I don't know if that sounds like an impossible task, but kids are really smart these days, and we'll look into that. We'll look into that. What's up? Real recognizes real. How's it going? Aloha, my friend. It's great to see all of you. All right, let's do this. I can say hello to all of you all day long because you guys are just truly incredible. I did want to get into some of the news and some of the things that are going on right now. Let's just get into some of these things. So here is Simon McLaughlin. And he is the CEO of Uphold. And, we've heard from multiple sources. I believe it was like a Forbes article. It said $84 trillion, as this greatest wealth transfer is happening kind of right under our noses right now. And so this was a great clip. I put it into one of my videos, and I thought it was worth bringing it up to you guys here today so you kind of understand how much money that we're talking about here could transition into markets like the crypto market.
What banks are waking up to is, over the next 15 years, there's going to be the largest wealth transfer in history.
It's already started.
It's already started. From baby boomers and Gen X to Gen Z and Gen Alpha. $80 trillion of wealth is going to be transferred to digital native generations. These are people who are going to expect money and investments to be as instantly movable as a text or a video file. And, blockchain really is best seen as a recognition that most money and financial assets are just digital information on ledgers.
Right.
But in the legacy world, there are lots of different ledgers that don't talk to each other. And so you end up with unnecessary friction and cost and intermediaries. Whereas this new coming generation is going to expect instant movement of money globally. And that's what blockchain facilitates. So, the big story here is banks need to prepare for what this coming digital native generation are going to want, from financial services. And at the most basic level, they're going to want access to digital assets.
To what? All right. Yeah, I think that was a great clip. The younger generation, and whatever you consider the younger generation, they're more interested in investing into blockchain and DLT. I think it's because they can, when you're investing into crypto, you become a part of a community. You become a part of something larger than yourself. And I think I've never been able to connect with a Tesla community or a Facebook community. You know what I mean? And so I think it speaks larger technology and memes and all of these things, right? It speaks to this younger audience, and financial institutions understand that they have to figure out how to target these younger investors, because that's where the money is going. And they're going to do everything in their power to cater to this younger audience that's going to have all of this money. And that's why I'm very excited, because all of this value is going to find its way into the crypto market one way or another. Now, somebody had a great question in the chat, and I did want to bring this up. I start this. So Jeremiah said, Nicole, what about the premium XRP ETF monthly paid weekly? So what you're talking about here is this. And I did a video about this already. Let me just pull this up. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. At least I think I have it here somewhere. Hold on. If I don't have it up here, I have it down somewhere. All right, let me hold on. Let me go into all my videos here. When I create content, sometimes I save some of the videos down below, so I know people have questions. Let me just pull this up. XRP. I should be able to find it with XRP 3%. Yep, here it is. Okay. It's called the Amplify. So this just launched. Let me pull up Lexi, because I did research this already. Amplify. Yep, here you go. All right, here's the information that you're asking Jeremiah. Okay. So Jeremiah was asking about this new 3% fund thing. Here is what it is. Says Amplify ETFs announced the first US listed XRP option income ETF, XRPM. Amplify XRP 3% monthly premium income ETF targets 36% annualized option premium income. Okay. So here's some of the information. This just launched on SIBO today. The date was the 18th. The expense ratio, some of this information, 750,000 at launch. There's 30,000 outstanding shares. And then seeks monthly income by writing and managing XRP options. And mainstream investor access. This ETF provides a regulated way for institutional and retail investors to gain exposure to XRP price action and volatility without needing direct on-chain custody or exchange accounts. And so, this is just another product that people are going to be able to use to get some type of, I guess you would call it passive income with XRP. Just remember that these products, you're going to see a mountain, a wall of these products, okay? Not all products are going to be created equally. You need to understand the company that is offering the product, and you need to understand, everything it is, right? So these are the types of things that you pick up the phone and you call that financial advisor. Usually if you're investing and you have a brokerage account, you have somebody that you talk to help you kind of manage these things. You need to understand all of the risks involved about putting your money into these types of things. Obviously, 36% sounds real nice, but is that going to be a reality, right? How are they going to guarantee those types of returns? You just want to really be involved before you commit any of your money and any of your XRP to any of this. Okay. So it's worth maybe having that conversation, understanding all the risks. And then if you think that that's a good product for you and you've done your due diligence, then of course you're going to make that decision. But that is what the 3% product is that you're asking about. All right. Is it the 19th? I don't know. I've seen a lot of dates, man. Are we talking about Franklin Templeton? I've seen a lot of dates. I've seen people talk about the 18th. I've seen people say 19th. I've seen people say the 24th. Let's see if Franklin Templeton itself has said anything about it. Franklin Templeton. Here we go. All right, let's see if they have anything here. Let's just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. I am. No, retirement landscape. No. Yeah, see, they really don't update this, right? October 7th, Franklin Templeton needs somebody on their freaking Twitter account updating people, right? Because this is pretty sad. Okay, November 4th. Man, look, they just don't care about X, which I mean, I can understand, but like October 7th, October 14th, and then November 4th. You're a $1.6 trillion assets under management company, and you can't. I don't quite understand. I don't quite understand that. But let me see here. Franklin Templeton. Let's just see if anyone else is talking about this real quick. Yeah, see, this is talking about how the analysts are predicting 150 to 250 million the first day, which would be, if you hit 250 million, this would be about 5 times larger than what we saw with Canary Capital, which would be pretty. Yeah, see, here you go. November 24th. There you go. November 24th. So, and this is 8 hours ago. The ETF launching today, November 18th, is on SIBO exactly as planned. Where the confusion come from is some people, including viral post, the S1 amendment restarted a 20-day clock. That's a misunderstanding. Franklin Templeton. Yeah, so it looks like the 24th, guys, is a confirmed date on X right now. How many ETFs are going live after ISO deadline? Okay, so guys, listen. Please understand this, okay? I personally, and this is just my personal opinion, so you can take that with what you will. ISO 20022 deadline is going to have no impact on the crypto market. No impact. It might have, it actually might be like a sell the news event, okay? There's people that believe that this migration deadline is going to pump the price of ISO related tokens. It's not. There are millions of payments happening per day right now that are already ISO payments, right? Using the messaging. You don't have regulation yet in the United States. And that is like the main thing that banks are going to wait for before they start using crypto in their payment infrastructure, right? So don't be married to the date. Never be married to any date in crypto. I've learned that the hard way over the past 5 years. And every single date, 99.9% of dates that say this is going to happen on this date, it never happens. Okay. Now, ETFs might help with liquidity, which might help with, financial institutions moving value and these types of things. But ETFs and ISO, nothing to do with each other. All right. Sorry if you were expecting some kind of big explosion in price for November 22nd. It's just not coming. And like, I will, that's my final answer. Like 2 years ago, I thought this was going to have some type of impact, but over like the last 6 to 12 months, I've said it time and time again, I don't think anything is going to happen personally. AK Scarface, what's up, dude? He says, Sensei, why hasn't the SEC just approved all these ETFs? So like the SEC really isn't involved at this point, right? They have the generic listing standards. So as long as there's a futures market, and as long as there's a futures market for 6 months, these products can be automatically approved if the financial institutions files the S1 form. And then right before they have to file an 8-A form or whatever. But the SEC really doesn't do anything at this point because it's all kind of automatically approved after a certain time, right? The only thing the SEC would do is like if they saw something that they didn't like, they could step in and stop it. But all of this stuff should be like on auto approval. All right. Yeah, like if there's a mess up in the paperwork, that's what can push it back. Great 2 cents there, Rocky. I appreciate you. Any information about XCC? You know what, Criff, I don't really follow XCC too much, and I wouldn't be able to provide you value on XDC. I appreciate you asking, but I'm sure there's so many other incredible content creators specifically around XDC. I would definitely go ask them for some answers. I spend most of my time understanding XRP, Ripple, regulation, central bank digital currency, decentralized ID, the evolution of blockchain infrastructure, financial institute. Like those are the things that I'm really more focused on at this point. But I do think XCC has a role to play. How big that role is, I mean, I'll leave that up to you, my friend. Seth, what's up, dude? I love these when I'm at work. What's up, Sensei? Well, hopefully we are helping you get through your day, man. And that is, that's what matters, right? And appreciate you being here, man. Do you think Powell will step down by the end of the year? No. So Powell's term is up like early next year. He's not going to go anywhere, man. He will go throughout his term, and then Trump will appoint somebody else. I think like we got to remember that Trump was the person who originally appointed Powell, right, in his first term. And, I know that we can kind of armchair quarterback. The Fed should have done this. The Fed should have done that. And maybe you're right. Maybe they should have acted sooner. Maybe they should have done these things. But when you take a look at the job that the Fed has a kind of a dual mandate. One of it is employment, unemployment, and the other one is inflation, right? Those are the two things that they are focused on. When we went through all of the stuff that we went through in 2020, inflation skyrocketed, right? We had to basically print our way out of that. And across the world, inflation skyrocketed, right? The US compared to other world economies that you compare to the US, right? How big they are and markets and all that stuff. The US was able to bring down inflation quicker than every other country, right? That we can compare it side by side to. So technically the Fed did a great job. Have they kind of misjudged some of the situations over the last maybe like 12 months, 18 months, 24 months? Absolutely, right? And so Trump will be able to appoint who he thinks will do a better job going forward. And we will see if that person will come in and maybe do some things differently than what Jerome Powell has done. But I don't sit up here saying that Jerome Powell did a terrible job. I think he did a good job for what was put in front of him. Maybe he could have acted sooner with the recent stuff, but at the end of the day, we're all judged by the choices that we make. And in real time, you're making decisions as like the leader of the largest central bank in the entire world. And that comes with extreme amount of challenges and consequences. What you don't want to do is overreact or react too quickly. You really want to understand the information, because let's say you act very quickly and you don't have the full picture, and that could really start to cascade things. And I don't know, history will judge him by his accomplishments and his failures, and then you can be the judge once we have all the information. Yes, sir. I don't know what to say about that, man. I don't know what to say about that. People have been talking about that since I think like 1999, right? 2000 no, it was 2008. It was after the 2008 financial crisis. Somebody started to, institutions started talking about that. And more recently, Jake has been talking about that, and then he's brought XRP in. But there are some things that aren't quite ready yet. So I don't know how all of that's going to work, man. I feel like, just grab some popcorn, sit back, and, we'll try to figure this out together. Obviously, we're talking about some pretty drastic times, right? If that plays out the way that it could be very scary, right? Because you're talking like if Japan offloads $1 trillion in US treasuries, China is going to do it. The UK is going to do it. Everybody's going to do it. And you're talking kind of about the collapse of the US bond market. And that would be the collapse of banks, people's retirement, people's pension. It's hard for me to even talk about how much pain something like that would cause. And it's scary. It's really scary. But we need to be prepared. We need to know what are the possible outcomes here. And, we need to pray, man. You need to pray it works out. I cannot tell you whether you should buy more XRP or not buy more XRP. I can tell you that over the last maybe 2 weeks, I have put $25,000 into XRP, more into XRP. I'm buying as much XRP as I can possibly buy. Right? Whatever you want to do, that is going to be on you. But me personally, I'm trying to gym up and drum up as much money as I can to put into XRP. Fair enough, Elliot. You think Powell's the problem? We always have to find some time someone I think someone to blame it on. Yeah, man, that's a tough gig. That's a tough job, right? No matter what you decide, half the country just disagrees with you and half the country might agree with you, right? And we got to understand it. It's not just Powell, right? It's 12 other people and they vote, right? And so I think people maybe don't quite understand how the Federal Reserve works. You have all of these, you have hundreds of different, analysts all providing information to the Board of Governors, and then they're the ones who kind of vote on what happens with rates. And he's just the one like that takes a lot of the brunt, right? He makes that decision. So very tough job, man. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. It's kind of tough, man. Let's see here. Big Kahuna, great to see you, my friend. I hope you are well. Sensei, real world, someone offers Powell a lucrative private sector job and Jerome steps down to explore new opportunities. That's how it works. Well, like his term's up, right? His term is up in like, hold on. When is it up? When is Jerome's Powell's term up? Let's just take a look here, man. I think it's like, is it March or April? May. It's May 15, 2026. Like he'll be in that job until May, and then he'll be replaced. And let's hope that whoever goes into that job knows what they're doing, right? Because like we can all say that this, he's doing a bad job or whatever. The person that takes his job, it could get kind of, man, I don't know, man. I'm hoping for the best, but what you don't want to put somebody in that job is like a yes person, right? You don't want to put somebody in that job that will. There's a reason why the Federal Reserve is separate from the executive branch, right? And the Federal Reserve needs to make decisions what's best for the US economy, right? If the person at the Federal Reserve is now taking orders from the executive branch, that would be catastrophic. You would have, because you got to understand, like all of the Moody's of the world that give credit ratings to the United States and this and that, like it could be bad, right? And if the U.S. keeps getting downgraded, the U.S. dollar will lose, global market share. It'll lose value. It'll lose all of these different things that we've come to rely on, right? The reason that the U.S. has had this dominant position with negotiation and technology and people wanting to come here to like all of these things is because of monetary policy, right? And because of the strength of the U.S. dollar. If we were to lose that strength, I mean, you kind of can figure out in your head what could happen there. So, Jordan, you haven't missed much, man. We're just answering questions. We're vibing. We're talking about the Fed. We're talking about ETFs, all kinds of stuff, man. Just trying to provide value to people's questions here. See here, Fabian says, "Hey, Crypto Sensei, wanted to ask your thoughts on American Bitcoin Corp stock or World Liberty Coin. Appreciate your insight." So, listen, I am not a financial advisor. I have no clue what American Bitcoin Corp stock is. Not the right person to talk to about that. I do apologize, but I have no idea. World Liberty Financial, that's if you believe in what they're doing. I don't follow what the Trump family's token is doing. I don't know, man. My thing is, if Trump wasn't president, do you think World Liberty Financial would be a good investment? Right? Like the reason people invest in World Liberty Financial is because they believe in Trump, maybe not just the technology, right? And Trump will be in there for the next 3 years. Will World Liberty Financial do well? I don't know. Like, do they have more deals? Like, is Binance going to invest another $2 billion into World Liberty to help them grow, right? The reason World Liberty has a $2 billion plus stablecoin is because CZ gave them $2 billion, right? So are other things like that in the background? I have no idea, man. I personally am not touching it. I would rather own XRP, XLM, HBAR. I would rather own the companies and the technology that have been building in the space for years, not the companies and the technology that popped up out of nowhere, went from having really no money to billions of dollars through some of these I don't know. Trump was on 60 Minutes and they asked him, "Why did you pardon CZ?" Right? Because Trump wrote a pardon and he pardoned CZ. Trump said he doesn't know who CZ is, but he heard he was a good guy, right? That's a little strange to me, right? If you're pardoning someone, usually you know who you're pardoning. And the $2 billion gift from, basically CZ to, Binance to World Liberty, is that pay for play? I don't know, man. Like that's something that I just find really strange. And I just don't want any part of it, man. Can it make money? Can it be successful? Maybe. I don't know. Do they have the best and the brightest people working for them? Or is it kind of like a grift? I couldn't tell you, man. I don't know. I'm not super bullish on it. Billy Bobby, see, he added those explosion marks to get my attention. Very smart, Billy. Billy Bob, I do my own stunts. Love that. Do you think that those in control created Bitcoin downturn in order to throw shade on XRP? Well, no, because like Bitcoin was created before XRP, right? Like the idea for the XRP ledger was thought back in, I think, what was 2004. Ryan, is it Fugger? I might be getting his name mixed up. Sorry. But we don't know who created Bitcoin. And I think, people are trying to connect what's going on with, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to go down this road about, Epstein and Bitcoin, and he knows who Satoshi is. Like, I don't know if any of that stuff's true. I do know that if people were to find out who created Bitcoin, like it doesn't matter who created it. As soon as you don't have that mystique, right? If you figure out like this person in this country randomly created it, I think it loses a lot of that value that people rely on. And I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of information that could come out about it over the next few years that could impact it positively or negatively. I think there's a lot of risk holding that asset. Will it do well? Probably, but can it fall apart? There's absolutely a risk of it falling apart. Thank you for the question. And then Christopher says, food for thought: XRP, XLM, HBAR, TIE, Flare, Link, ADA, Near, Ondo, focus on utility based. Like this is, when you ask me a question about Word Liberty, whatever you feel about, Trump and his family, like this is the technology that I've heard for years. These are the teams that have some of the brightest, smartest people on the planet building the technology of the future. Like this is the technology that you should probably be more focused on, not just like the buzzwords. This is the infrastructure of the future. Like the thing is, like after Trump's out of office, will companies still go to World Liberty for technology, right? CZ actually gave World Liberty the technology stack to launch, to launch it and to operate it, right? So you start to wonder, are institutions still going to take it seriously? Like World Liberty doesn't have any real clients outside of, some of these exchanges like Binance. And it's funny that CZ is now allowed to come back to the US with Binance too now, right? Because they were banned for some time. So I don't know, man, there's a lot of weird dealings happening there, and it's just kind of crazy, bro. Let's see. Carry trade is a real thing, Sensei. Wife and I are planning a trip to Japan. Japan's non-existent rates are finally going to rise as well. Listen, I agree with you. It is a real thing. My comment is, is it going to play out the way that, we keep hearing it will, right? And what is that going to do to the rest of the world? I know it's a very real thing. I don't know if you saw the video I made yesterday or the video I made 3 months ago or 6 months ago talking about it. I get it. My wife also wants to go to Japan, and we are also planning a trip in, I think, like April to go to Japan. So it's all anybody in her office can talk about it. So I wanted to go to Italy and Greece, and she wanted to go to Japan. You can kind of tell who won where we're going. Let's see here. David Morsey says, in England, I tried mentioning to my friends about XRP. It's like kryptonite over here. Try to diversify with gold, silver, and the miners, but unfortunately, no luck. Heads buried in the sand. I think maybe just, it's weird because I've heard that a lot of people like taxi drivers and people like that in England and the UK love XRP. So what you're saying here is kind of contradicting maybe kind of the things that I've heard from other people. And so maybe it's the people that we are directly coming into contact with. Maybe you just haven't found your people, right? Our people, the XRP people. You got to understand that there's only what 3 million people on the planet that own XRP, right? Very small group of people. And you know, it's hard to find people that have spent the time that you have to understand and do the due diligence and to you know, I don't know, man. It's XRP holders are far and few between. And you know, I can't wait when we have 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million XRP holders. That's going to get really exciting. Here's David says, do you think the stock market does crash in crypto? Well, like if the reverse carry trade, you know, if the carry trade unwinds, I mean, if the bond market collapses, the stock market's going to go with it, right? And I'd imagine the crypto market will go with it too, right? We're not going to be impervious. And is that what needs to happen for this reset, right? The hard part, like, you know, I was listening to something Jake said about this rolling out, right? Part of what he says, you need to have like the Japan CBDC up. You need to have the UK CBDC up. You need to have all of these different CBDCs up, and they're not up, right? Are they ready in the background? Possibly, but that information has not been publicly released. So if it does play out in the next 30 days or whatever, is the infrastructure ready, right? You don't even have regulation here in the United States yet. I know some of the things, you know, sound too good to be true for XRP. And, you know, I'm just hesitant and reluctant. And, you know, we'll take it day by day here, you know. BlackRock didn't file an ETF. I know. I pointed that out in the video I did just like 3 days ago. I know. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of information that is spread that isn't correct, and even people that have audiences like my size, you know, sometimes say something that is not really well fact checked. And the BlackRock ETF thing, that was I think, what was it, like misfiled? I did look this up, right? Let me see here. Library, BlackRock spot XRP. Let's see here. Yep, here you go. I researched this when, hold on, BlackRock spot XRP ETF. Here you go. I researched this. I researched for a video on November 13th. Here's that information. Okay. In November 2023, a document from iShares XRP Trust appeared on the Delaware Corp Commission website, closely mirroring genuine filings for BlackRock and other trusts like Bitcoin, Ethereum. The filing was not accompanied by an official S1 registration and or any correspondent listing in legal SEC channels. Unlike actual BlackRock product launches, Bloomberg ETF analysts reported BlackRock insiders denied filing the XRP Trust. And then although the Delaware trust registration remained public, leading some to speculate it was a preliminary legal move or fraudulent submission, right? It wasn't a real thing. And what's his name? Jake told his audience the other day, like when I played that video, that it was real. So I don't know, maybe he knows something that people don't, but I don't think it was real. I think when BlackRock really decides to do it, we'll know, right? I don't think BlackRock's in there to play mind games and psyop games, but you never know, I guess. XRP is the only one with clarity. Absolutely. That is a very true statement. Thank you for dropping that. Hey, R6 Quick. I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat, man. Welcome. How you doing? Miss Persia, great to see you. Yeah, so how this works, guys. the reason BlackRock filed for Bitcoin and Ethereum is because their customers asked for it, right? It's all about customer demand. And BlackRock will wait until BlackRock's customers ask for it, right? And if they see Franklin Templeton and other ETFs doing extremely well, you know, they're there to make money. They're there to make money. They're there to make their clients happy, and they will get into it, man. They will get into it. Absolutely, man. Give us bad news. You know, there's always bad news in the world, but like, I feel like if you focus on all the bad, you miss all the good, you know. And we could spend so much time doom scrolling and talking about everything that's messed up in the world, or we can talk about a brighter, more optimistic future. And you know, I choose to, you know, talk about the good things, right? We're filled with so much bad stuff around us. Like every day, you open your phone in the mornings, you know, you get texts from people, you social media, it's a lot of it's bad, you know. And you know, it just has a toll on us, takes a heavy toll on us. Canary got us off to a good start. They did, man. Like, and you're seeing a lot of demand. Like the ETFs are good and bad. And if you watch my content, you know, if you watch a lot of my videos, you know that I've said this several times. It's good that it's creating a demand now where there wasn't before. This institutional demand, having the ability for people to gain access to XRP through these products without having to, you know, have wallets and seed phrases and custody and all of these things. But it's the institution that owns the XRP, right? And more institutions will control more XRP and less retail, right? As retail panics and sells, those institutions are buying it up. And at some point, you know, retail might not own any XRP, right? If the value is high enough and people want to sell, you know, and they don't have the lending and all these things set up, then, you know, one day, you know, you might not own any, but you'll have a lot of money. But, you know, let's see here. Turpy 88. How high do you believe XRP can go before Christmas? Man, I wish I had a crystal ball, dude. You know, I think if the ETF demand shows up the way we've been seeing across all the products, I think you could see like a $10 to $30 XRP realistically, right? You know, I don't foresee XRP being $100 or $1,000 by the end of the year. It's just, you know, if XRP were to go to $100, you know how many financial institutions would be selling? They would flood the market with XRP. If retail only owns 2 to 3 billion XRP and Ripple has 45% of the supply, that means financial institutions and whales have the rest. And if you have, you know, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million XRP, and it's at $100, if you have a million XRP and it goes to $100, you have $100 million. You don't think financial institutions will be like, all right, sell, right? And you'll have XRP flooded onto the market. That's what you saw with Bitcoin, right? You saw the ETFs launch. You saw the price slowly rising. And then institutions flooded it and took profit, just like any market. See here, Suppa Style, loving the videos, working in Australia on my tractor. Man, be safe out there. Have some fun, and can't wait to experience all of this stuff with you, man. Thank you for being here. What are your thoughts on ADA? Man, I think there's a lot of value in ADA. Like Charles Hodgkinson is, you know, one of the more outspoken leaders in the blockchain space. You know, I don't agree with everything Charles says, just like, you know, with anybody, right? I've been trying to see if Charles will come on the channel and talk with us about his plans for the XRP community and what is his plans for Midnight and this DeFi layer that he envisions. You know, we'll see if he responds to that. You know, I really don't want to tell you. I think ADA will do good on its own, but it's really going to depend on, you know, what Charles can double down on with the technology and his partnerships and innovation. And you know, I think ADA, I think Ondo, I think HBAR, I think all of that has extreme value in the future. Shout out from New Hampshire. What's up, dude? Stock Guy Ty. What's up, man? Love you, Sensei. Hope as well, my king. I'm ready for XRP, bro. Me too, man. I cannot wait, dude. Let's see here. Crypto Revenge. Crypto Sensei, do you think XLM will follow in the footsteps of XRP eventually? So like, I think Stellar has a big use case. I don't think it is as well known, and I don't think it has the same community as XRP has, right? Like, you know, they're going after a different use case, which is retail payments. And I think it's going to be extremely popular. Is it going to have an extreme price like XRP does? I don't know, man. I don't know. I personally don't think so. Not saying that it's not going to do well, but like if you're imagining XRP can go to 10,000 or 50,000, like some people say it can, you know, whether that takes 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, I have no idea. You know, can Stellar reach those levels? I don't know. Will it have enough institutional demand? It could. Hard to know, man. It really is impossible, you know? And like, my whole thing is like, I can get up here and tell you that all of this stuff is going to the moon and all of this stuff is going to whatever. But like, you know, I think you guys understand that you want facts, you want information, you want to be able to understand that information in a simple way, right? So you can kind of start getting it and start explaining it to your friends and family. You know, nobody really knows how this is going to play out, right? People have thesis and people have ideas, but nobody truly knows step by step, date by date, how it's all going to play out, right? And all we can do is stay vigilant, stay educated, keep learning, keep growing, and keep supporting each other. And if we can do those 5 things, you know, we're going to be successful, right? Yeah, I mean, you know, I wake up every day and I cannot wait to get on my laptop, you know? First thing I do is, you know, I shower, I got to eat something, and then let's check the news. Like what's going on? You know, what are the latest updates? How can I understand this better? What do I need to pair with this, to do this? And, you know, you just start building and you start creating. And it's just exciting, man. It's just so exciting. Angelo checking in from Australia. Love your work. You're good help in this army. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the kind comments. That's really nice of you to say, man. Tim Smith. Is it just me or did sentiment just turn positive in the last 10 hours? Man, it's been positive. I know there's like a lot of negativity, you know, on socials and things like that. I think people are just scared of what they don't understand, you know? And I think the people that attack XRP are the people that don't want to spend any time to understand XRP, and they want the engagement. They want people to come after them, right? They want, did you see the freaking guy? What was his name? The head of digital assets at VanEck, right? Like the guy job is to be the head of research at VanEck, and he's going out of his way to attack the XRP community. Like that is just bad, right? Like your company is one of the leading ETF providers in the world. Like I think they're top 10. And that guy's job is to build bridges in communities, right? Because if VanEck eventually launches a product, who's going to go out of their way to buy the spot XRP VanEck ETF, right? After their head of research trashes the community, right? Like where is the foresight there? I don't understand that, right? And I think there are a lot of people that are going out of their way right now to try to make us look silly, try to make us, you know, look stupid. And, you know, eventually that'll catch up, man. You know, I don't know if, you know, believe in karma and these types of things, but, you know, if you put a lot of bad energy out into the world, you're going to get a lot of bad energy that comes back, right? If you can put out some positivity and you know, might not always be rainbows and sunshine, but you're going to attract, you know, a higher quality, better people around you. And I think that is what's most important in the crypto space, because people are tribal. People, you know, remember, right? Like it is etched in your brain, and openly attacking is just, I think it's just bad for business, man. It's just bad for business. Sensei, I don't know, it's not good to leave crypto on exchange, but it could be dangerous to transfer back to an exchange to take profits. Could they take your crypto as soon as they transfer it back? So AK, like there's always this kind of like doomsday scenario, right? Where could this happen? I guess it could, man. Like, you know, once you transfer it back to that exchange, it becomes a liability for that exchange, right? Now, do you think that exchange would be in business if they start confiscating people's crypto? Like the second that were to get out, that exchange would probably not be an exchange anymore. So is it a risk? Absolutely. But like, is your Coinbases and Upholds and the Krakens of the world going to do that? I really don't think so. I really don't believe that they're there to basically shut their entire business down, right? Because they have investors and they have people that believe in them and what they're doing, and they have a lot of money invested in those things. And if you were to start doing that, it just leads to a very bad path for the industry. And I don't think people want to do that, man. Dave Morrissey says, yes, guys, I think Jake Claver was a bit optimistic with his predictions. So like whether Jake believes the prediction or he did it for views and clicks to build his businesses, I don't know, man. Like that's a question that people need to answer for themselves. I just know that every piece of content that Jake puts out is directed to push people into his business. Like, and I was talking with a really good friend of mine about this, and you know, it just depends on like what you like, right? There's a lot of value in what he's saying, but he's saying it for a reason, right? Like I could get up here and say XRP to $10,000 tomorrow, right? But like, is that what I want to put out into the world? Like just filling people with false hope and these crazy numbers that, you know, we don't even have some of this infrastructure set up yet, but we're going to see this $1,000 per XRP price in the next 42 days. 42 days. I think Jake has a plan, and his plan's been working, right? He's now making millions of dollars off of the things in his business, and that was his plan all along. So whether he's right or wrong, it still worked out for him, right? He might take some heat on the other side of that, but you know, he'll live with it, right? Oh, guys, my bad. I was wrong. It'll happen next year at the same time, right? And then we're going to live through it all over again. I can see it. I can see it. I can already feel it coming. I can already feel it coming, man. Yeah, it's good to you have an army now. I don't want an army, man. I just, you know, I just want to help people, dude. Like I know that's kind of maybe I don't know. Like when I first got into crypto, it was difficult for me to understand this stuff, you know, and I was struggling, but I was thirsty. Like I wanted to consume as much as I could. And like, if there was somebody out there that could just give me the facts and point me how, like where I can learn, how I can do the research better, you know, like giving you value for your time, that was the most important thing for me. And it took me years to be able to put myself in a position where I could, you know, get up here and talk from a perspective of maybe an expert or somebody that's spent enough time to understand this, right? And whether people like it or don't like it, like as long as some people are learning and people are growing and people are moving forward and it's making them happy, that's all I could ask for at the end of the day. And that's all I really care about. You know, it'll all work out for me because I believe in all of this stuff. I don't know how long it's going to take. Truly, I have no idea, but I can tell you that, excuse me, I can tell you that we're on a timer now, right? And that timer is 2030, okay? And the reason that timer is 2030 is you have seen a lot of public announcements about CBDCs and these hard dates of 2030, right? Regulation and all of these different things, right? $30 trillion in tokenized assets by 2030, right? All of these numbers are leading to this date around 2030. So I figure that if I can dedicate the next 5 years of my life, maybe it happens sooner, maybe it happens just after, but that is my window. So I am prepared to wake up every day for the next 5 years and put in as much hard work as I can to understand all of this stuff. Because like, let's be honest, this is awesome. This is great. But I think this will all play out in the next few years, right? You can't put it back in the box. You have regulation on stablecoins. You're about to have regulation on Clarity in the United States. Financial institutions will all be competing against each other. Corporations will all be competing against each other. Insurance companies, retirement companies, all of these countries are now competing against each other. So everybody is in a rush to be a part of this. And like the last few years, it's been like, is this going to do this? Is this going to do this? There's not really much happening. But now it's different, right? You have all of these things coming to a head. You have the ETFs. You have other financial products. You have regulation. You have jurisdictions. You have tokenization, stable coins. It's all coming. It's here now, right? Let's prepare. Laser, what's up from Southern England? Man, there's a lot of people from the UK and England, man. Y'all should should get a group together, you know, because somebody was talking about they can't find XRP people in England. I always see people checking in. From Brazil, what's up, man? How's it going? Guzao? I probably butchered that, man. I do apologize, but great to see you, man. Great to see you. I was just in Brazil a few months ago to visit family, man. Yeah, Telcoin is pumping, man. I'm glad you're making money. Man, I don't know anything about Telcoin, dude. I invested in Telcoin in like 2021, and then I sold. So I'm not the right person, man. But you're making money. Go for it. Sensei, I plan on holding until at least the Trump administration comes to an end. We'll be able to cash out. So, like, what is it that you think will happen once Trump leaves office? Do you think like the market will stop growing? Like, I want to understand your logic here so we can maybe have a conversation, because there's probably other people that maybe are thinking like you. And I think maybe we could have an open discussion to talk about this, right? Because no one person, whether it's the president of the United States or some random person in New Zealand, no one person is going to stop the market from going up, right? And I know that we look at the Elizabeth Warrens of the world and we worry about who's the next person that comes in after Trump. And is that person going to be good or bad for crypto? That's why it's so important right now to get that regulation passed, right? But like, you understand, this is now becoming bipartisan. It's not just one party over the other. Yes, the Republicans have done a lot of work. And yes, the United States would probably not be anywhere close to where it needs to be without all of that work from just a laundry list of people. But people are starting to get educated, right? And you can't put it back in the box. Like, I am not going to sell my crypto because some person, one person leaves office. Like, God forbid something happened to him tomorrow. Would you sell your XRP tomorrow? Right? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I think we need to not say if this one thing happens, I'm out, right? Like, you have to have a bigger mindset, a bigger picture here. Don't let one thing, you know, throw you off from all of this hard work that you've done, right? Because like, what if, you know, we don't have this crazy growth and then he leaves office and then you sell everything and a month later, everything skyrockets. Like, all of it would have been for nothing. So maybe don't set like, and I see this people with people setting like prices in their head, right? Oh, if XRP goes to $2, I'm going to buy, you know, $10,000. And then it goes down to like $2.01 or $2.02. And then it goes back up and you miss the opportunity. Like, wouldn't it have made sense to maybe buy $1,000 or $5,000? And then if it does reach that price, then you buy the rest. Like, don't limit yourself because of one thing. It's much bigger than one person, right? Much bigger. Yes, I did receive your email, Miss Bertrand. I'm not ignoring you. I just, I'm just overwhelmed. I have a new business development team coming in to help me. You got to understand, like dozens and dozens of emails come in a day. And a lot of these are projects and people sharing information and these types of things. And so like, I have your emails sitting right there, and I have them. I've looked at some of it, but I need to spend more time, and I just haven't had that time to sit there, go through each thing, and build what I want to build around your emails. But I do have them, and I will work to do that. I just, on the weekends, I wake up at like 5:30, and I'm usually working till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I go pick up my wife from work. We have dinner, and then I'm on my phone usually until about 7 o'clock. I go to sleep about 9 p.m. and then I start the day over. And I do this 7 days a week. And I don't really take much time for myself. And so I've had to force myself to spend time with my wife and my dog, and just to do things on the weekend, because if not, I will work 7 days a week, right? Because I feel like it is such an important time. There's so many things happening. And I'm trying to, like, you and like 10 or 12 other people are all kind of sending me like long, detailed emails. And like, I would need hours to just kind of go through it. So bear with me. I have it. I will get to it. Okay. David Schwartz was asked, will there be a flip switch? And the answer was yes. There you go, man. I wish you all the best, man. Like R6 quick. I wish you all the best, man. I would just say, don't set it around one event. You're never going to get another opportunity like this one. Never in your lifetime. You have to make every effort to make this opportunity count, because this could mean the difference between you and your family having generational wealth, or you having to work until the day that you die and you never really get to enjoy it. So just make it count, man. Make it count. It's so important that you do, bro. Jordan, what's up, dude? Yeah, we were we were looking at the growth, and I don't even know what to say at this point. In November of 2024. So here, like, I'll share this with you guys. We're kind of just having a conversation here. We're vibing. In September 2022 is when I launched the channel. Was it 22? September 2022 is when I launched the channel. Before that, I was doing some Cryptonaire stuff, but I was passionate and I wanted to make XRP content. I lost money on the channel for 2 years and 2 months. Every month, I lost money. All right. And this is during the bear market, right? And so I wasn't making money in crypto. I wasn't working another job. I was out here putting my entire life on the line for something that I was passionate about, right? And I didn't know how it was going to work out. November 2024, first month on YouTube, I made $1,000. $1,000. Because you got to understand, when you're making content, I can't edit. I'm not an editor, so I pay someone to edit. I don't create thumbnails, so I have to pay someone to create thumbnails, right? November 2024, I made $1,000 on YouTube. And that was not after I paid my editor, right? That was just, wow, finally made some money. In the last 12 months, we've gone from doing about maybe 15,000 views a day. Right now we're doing 150, sometimes 170. During swell, we did 200,000 and 194,000, and I don't know what to say. It's so powerful to me, that people show up and they like it and they learn and they grow and they leave kind comments, and it comes from the heart. And, I know some people get frustrated with some of the clickbaity titles and these things. And I get it, but I put my heart and soul into this thing. And regardless of how it was going to work out financially, I knew I was doing something that I wanted to do, and something that I was proud and happy to do it. And I'd never felt that before, right? A job was just a job, right? I woke up every day. I went to go sell cars or sell real estate or be in finance or do desking and deals. And it always felt like work. And I never felt like I was adding to people's lives. Now I feel like I'm adding to people's lives. And the feeling is incredible. Sometimes it's shocking. But I'm having fun. I'm learning. I'm growing. And eventually I'm going to make more than enough money than I can spend in a lifetime. And until that day, I'm just going to have as much fun as I can, learn as much as I can, and share as much as I can. And that is the whole kit and caboodle, man. That is everything to me. All right. Whew. Oh my God. So many comments, man. I wish I could read every comment, but it's so difficult, guys. When the clarity bill comes out, oh, thank you, Atticus, for the $5 donation, or $5 Canada. When the clarity bill comes out, could they challenge XRP again? Oh, so no. They cannot challenge it again. Like, could they go through all the litigation and stuff like that? I mean, I don't want to never say never, because, the world is crazy. But usually when you go through a 4-year legal challenge and you have a federal judge that is respected and this and that, once you kind of go through all that, it's done. Once the Clarity Act gets signed, the rest of the industry will have that same recognition that XRP has right now. Like, I don't think we go backwards here, right? The rest of the industry needs to understand what they can and can't do with digital assets. And that's what's been holding it back. You're an insurance company and you want to use crypto for payments, or you want to use, you want to be able to offer crypto products. What are the rules and laws about that? Because the last thing you want to do is put out a product, have your customers invest in that product, and that product becomes illegal. So everybody is waiting for that clarity. And once you get that clarity, that is the biggest thing. Like, that is the go date. Now, passing regulation and getting all the rulemaking done is two different things. Okay. So once the Senate confirms it, whatever, passes it, it might need to go back to the House for another vote, but it should go to the president's desk soon after. Once Trump signs that into law, the SEC and the CFTC have to start all of the rulemaking and basically what is allowed and what isn't allowed based on that bill. And that could take some time. But once that gets passed, any financial institution could start, financial institution, corporation, insurance company, sovereign wealth fund, whatever it is, they can start building, they can start using, they can start doing whatever they need to. So the short answer is, I don't think we relive all of that. All right. Jayhawk, what's up, dude? Love what you do. First of all, thank you for the donation. He says, love what you do. I saw an older video when you mentioned Bitcoin multiplier stopped at 100. You stated XRP could stop at the price, but your ratio was off. XRP ratio was 100 billion coins and 500,000. Jayhawk, send me the video. I'd love to take a look to better understand. I know that learning is a process, and my opinions have changed over time. And if I misquoted or missaid something, I'd love to address that and fix that. So thank you for pointing it out, man. I appreciate you. You'll be on the Mount Rushmore of XRP influencers. Like, I don't need all that, man. Like, as long as people are happy and like this all works out at the end, that's all I need, man. Like, I don't need like recognition. Like, I don't really care about any of that stuff. Like, it would be cool to be invited to Swell, right? Like, that would be cool. One of my biggest goals is to interview Brad Garlinghouse. One of my not as big as Brad Garlinghouse, Monica Long or David Schwartz, like those would be, that would be like, I've truly made it in the space if I could one day do that. And I'm going to work as hard as I can until I get there. And I will get there. I'm going to put that out in the world. I'm going to get there eventually. Yes, I appreciate you pointing that out, Dragon. I appreciate you pointing that out. I do have words with my editor I do recommend titles for videos. I'm often asleep when some of the content goes out, and you're right. And YouTube is a very clickbaity place, and I have done a lot of things to try to tone that down. And I appreciate you pointing that out. Peter, great to see you, man. Swan says, is 10 XRP enough to see major profit? If XRP reaches a high enough price, it would be, right? But realistically, probably not, man. Probably not. Sometimes people have like a 1,000 XRP or 500 XRP. If XRP someday reached $10,000 and you had $1 million, if you had 1,000 XRP and XRP reached $10,000, you'd have $1 million. So if you had 10 XRP, you wouldn't have very much even at these very high levels. But people should only kind of do what they can afford. Obviously, I'm not the person you take financial advice from. But if it was me, I would look to try to maybe expand that to 100 or 500 or whatever you can, man. But definitely up to you, bro. Oh, Oscar Ramos is here. What's up, Oscar? Oh, is that why somebody said something about me and Oscar? I was like, that's such a random thing to say. Dylan, what's good to see you, man? Mount C Sensei. Okay. Jay Chen, great to see you, Jay. Blessed, I see your comment. Sometimes it's the mods, and like, listen, influencers, YouTubers, whatever you want to call us, right? We're people too. And I we have feelings and we get emotional and sometimes we don't react the way maybe you think we're going to react, right? At the end of the day, I've made a lot of mistakes, and everybody else wakes up every day and they try to do things correctly, but life is all about decisions. And sometimes you make the wrong decision, right? And you can like get engulfed in that, or you can understand that people are just people, right? And not every time you're going to be able to be perfect, right? And so letting go of that frustration, letting go of that anger, I know I've had to do that with a lot of situations, and I am getting a little bit easier as I age. I can tell you when I was younger, something would set me off, and like I would make my opinions known, right? And I don't think any of these people are bad people, right? I know I don't feel like I'm a bad person. I know that I try to do as many things as I can in my life to help people, even though it takes away from my personal time with my friends and my family and my dog and these things, right? But you do it because you want to help other people, right? And so one thing that somebody does shouldn't kind of counterbalance all of the great things that person is doing, right? And I just hope people can understand that, right? Like I 120,000 subscribers, like I don't know, man. I can remember when I had 50 subscribers and 100 subscribers and like 5 people would watch my content, and it just grows and it compounds, and just, have a little understanding that, everyone makes mistakes. And I hope you understand that. So I see what you're saying, Blessed, and I'm sorry that happened to you. Let's see here. Chris J says, you have to go to Swell. Zach got to speak with David. Yeah, dude. I was actually talking with Zach. We kind of send messages back and forth on X. I'd like to meet Zach one day. I think Zach's a really cool guy, man. We don't agree on some of the stuff that, he posts on X, but like, that's what makes it fun, right? When somebody doesn't agree with everything that you think, right? That's how you learn from somebody, right? Whether you don't want to learn, right? You still are learning, right? So I'm excited to meet him. Excited to meet some other people here in the XRP space, man. Because there's so many people that are putting all of their time and energy to help people understand this, and just take a deep breath, I'm still going to Vegas. Yeah, I'm going to be going this year. I don't know when it is. I got to get it. Like, are there tickets already for sale? I'm going to go. I couldn't go this last year because I had hip surgery and my doctor was like, nope. And I was like, oh man, I kind of want to go. But yeah, I'd love to go. Hopefully there'll be some like panels and maybe, you know, I would be invited to talk on a panel and share some of my beliefs and my feelings about all this stuff. If not, love to just show up and hang out with people and talk crypto. What's up, Tan Nguyen? Good to see you, man. Thank you for being here. Always nice to see Oscar in the house, man. Let me see here. Dylan, great to see you, man. Someone mentioned you being a figurehead on the crypto mountain, like Mount Rushmore. Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know about that, man. I don't know if I wanted to right on, Sensei. No disrespect. Man, I appreciate you, man. Yeah. You know, and sometimes you read a comment and it's like it's really nasty. And you're just like, you know, I'm just gonna hide this person from the chat. And I've done that a few times, right? Like when somebody kind of just says something so outrageous, you know, and you're just like, that makes me really uncomfortable. And so, you know, and we have people that help us, and you know, sometimes it gets misclicked, and so, you know, don't take it personal, man. I don't think there's any bad blood or anything like that, man. You know. Bradley here says, thank you. I truly appreciate your realistic take on what's going on. Man, I appreciate that, dude. Appreciate that. Always nice to see you, Oscar. I've been already yelling a bit. Yeah, man. You know, hopefully you're having a good day, man. Yeah, 121,000. You know, we it's been pretty crazy, man. It's been a very blessed year for my family. Very blessed. My family's like my wife and my dog. But my mom bought some XRP. My mom bought some XRP last week. So I was really proud. I was really proud about that. And I've been sending her some stuff, and she's been learning in the background. And you know, that was really beautiful. Hey, but the fact that you are addressing this, it shows solid dude. I've had share of experiences with Oscar. You know, talking about it is the uncomfortable part, but bringing it out into the open and having a conversation about it, that's the most important part, right? Because like when things get pushed down and people feel like they're ignored, and you know, like people are right, man. Things can be clickbaity and whatever, right? They're absolutely right? I could be doing this better and that better, and like I try to wake up every day and try to improve a thing at a time. And I know a lot of these people, Oscar and Zach and Jake and all these people, really care about the community, and like that is what's most important, right? We might not show that in certain ways that people like or agree with, but these people wouldn't wake up every day if they didn't really want to help people, right? Because they would just wake up and say, you know, I'm just going to do my own thing, right? But they're actively researching and putting this stuff out to help people, and that speaks volumes about who they are. Let's see here. Tom says, great work, man. Getting carried away with ETFs. Surely without all of them listing in the same day being adopted, the price ain't going to change that much. We need clarity and ACT and BlackRock. I think we can do it without BlackRock, Tom. But you're right. We do need regulation. That's going to be a very important piece, man. Very important. It's going to be interesting to see if the ETF numbers stay up, right? And like what happens when you have 7 products or 8 products? Are you going to see that same level of demand across all products? And I think we need to be realistic, right? Like if it was just going to go up forever, Bitcoin would have gone up forever, right? And so there's going to be a point where some institutional investors or some retail investors are like, that price is what I was looking for. Sell, right? And everybody is going to be different. Everyone's going to have bigger price targets. But the important part is getting the regulation passed so the corporations, the companies, the investors, the institutions, everything can start transacting and being a part of it. Oh snap! We got Oster being a member of the channel. Love that, man. Zach is right about the multiplier. Yeah, man. I think Zach was probably the first person I saw talking about that. You know, and Zach is a really smart guy. He's a really smart guy. He's a hard worker too, man. How old am I? I'm 41. 41. My birthday is September 13th. If you want to send me like a card or something. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm 41, man. Carlo, appreciate that. That was very kind of you to say. I would like to see a panel with me, Abs, Paul Barron, and Zach. That would be a crazy panel. You know, Paul Barron is one of those people that, you know, I've interviewed a lot of people, and I've been interviewed. And Paul Barron has some kind of like, you know, voodoo, suave, you know, he knows, like he is in control of whatever conversation that you go into, and he is prepared. And you don't see that as much. Like, you don't see somebody that is ready for basically anywhere that conversation goes. I think Paul is one of those very special people in the space. And, you know, I enjoy listening to a lot of what he says. Sveta Gump here. I see that you're using Jay Claver videos to get your point across. Thoughts? If it's not Jake, it would be somebody else, right? Do I want to get up here and play clips that people are talking about $1,000 or $10,000 or $50,000? It's fun, but it's also a little uncomfortable, right? But people are talking about it. You know, I have an opinion about it, and you know, I am going to address the good stuff. I'm going to address the bad stuff, and I'm just going to give you my honest opinion. Whether you like that honest opinion or not, that is what my opinion is. And, you know, do I, you know, it's controversial, right? Some people say you don't need to do that. You don't need to talk about Jake at all. Some people say I like, people will send me, you know, like new people like get into XRP. Like if I'll meet somebody and they're like, hey, what do you do? I was like, oh, I create content. Like, what do you create content on? Oh, it's XRP. Well, what's XRP? And then you go through it, and then they get into it. And like the first thing they do is says, hey, is this Jake person someone, you know, is he trustworthy? Like, is this really going to happen? And so you have to address that every time that you get that, right? And, you know, it's just one of those things that it's there. And sometimes it's fun to talk about. Sometimes I think it's kind of outrageous, but you know, we got to talk about it. And if it's not Jake, it'll be somebody else. And if it's somebody else, I'll play it. You know, we'll play it, man. Let's see here. Somebody had a question though. I want to see that. Well, everyone has a question, but hey, Crypto Sense, I have a question. What exactly is happening with market of XRP and other cryptos? Can you explain why XRP does not follow market cap? Well, I think we're talking about maybe Bitcoin dominance and kind of XRP and other alts following that, right? You know, is there going to be a moment that XRP breaks through kind of following that? I think so. I think we're kind of at that inflection point. But I think we're still all speculating. And we're not at a point of utility yet. And until we get to that point of utility, it's all going to be like XRP should be 230, XRP should be 240. And we're really not going to get anywhere. All right, let me see here. So Oscar became a member. Appreciate that, Oscar. Thank you, dude. And then Husker Nation with a $20 donation, man. Thank you, man. The price of XRP is at right now, can't stay there once all ETFs go live. Once inflows happen every 30 to 90 day mark, think T+1, Ripple's bank charter, institutional adoption, and other events will cause the price to go up. Like, I think he hit it right on the head there. I think you can add EVM sidechain, you can add tokenization, you can add stablecoin adoption, you know, you can add CBDCs. I mean, you can add like this new conversation about smart contracts. You can add the DeFi layer that's coming in with Flare. You can add the DeFi layer with Midnight. You could add everyone else trying to build. You can add all of the projects that are now being created with the EVM sidechain. I know we brought that up just recently, but I don't think people really understand when you have, you know, 100 developers or 1,000 developers or 10,000 developers all building this future infrastructure, all of that is going to need XRP, right? To be that transaction token or lock up or whatever. And I think people are underestimating the price appreciation that we're going to see, here over the next few months, few years. Well said, man. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate you. Slim Jim, dude, what's up? Haven't seen you in a hot minute, man. Oh, Brandon, Canadians, we love you, man. Everybody I've met from Canada has always been one of the nicest people that I've ever met. So I love Canadians in general, man. Appreciate you. I make you lazy. Bryce Connolly says, you make me lazy, man. I just listen to you and get all the info I need. Love it. Thank you. I'm lucky enough to hold good bags of XRP, though. A lot of hard work. Keep it up. Great. You know what, Bryce? I appreciate that, man. I never want you to feel that you're being lazy or anything like that. I think that speaks to the amount of good information that we're able to deliver on a daily basis here. And I'm glad you're learning, man. And I'm glad you have a big bag. And man, when XRP does reach its appreciation point, let me know what you decide to go spend that XRP on, man. I'm going to be really interested to know. All right. Let's see here. Gazar says, Encash just mentioned the Clarity Act in the US looks set to be announced by the 27th. So I've seen people talk about this before Thanksgiving. I've heard September, I've heard October. Now we're in November. When it happens, then it'll happen, right? Right now, it's just dates. If it does happen by Thanksgiving, fantastic. Let's get that bill on President Trump's desk. Let's get it signed. Let's go into 2026, up and away, man. What did I miss? Oh, since I've been trying to get you the answer from you since you put me on K-pop Demon Hunters. What's the question, Obsidian? K-pop Demon Hunters is such a good movie, man. Like, that was one of the best recommendations ever. That was so good. Speaking about shows, because I love a good show. So Landman just came out. You know what I'm watching on Netflix right now? Was it like The Last Samurai? Where it's kind of like a Squid Games type of, there's hundreds of participants and they all have to fight, and the wooden tags. If you're not watching that, that's a great show. Death by Lightning, I started that on Netflix. That's pretty good. What else am I watching, man? There's so many shows right now. I don't have enough time. I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch this show today. And then I don't get enough time to watch it. But let me know what the question is about K-pop. How are you not talking about Dick and Maya's mentioning XRP in Colombia? I don't even know who that is. Who is Dick and Maya's? Let's take a look, man. Like, who is Dick and Maya? Like Dick and Maya? Maya, excuse me. Maya's. And what did he say about XRP? Let's take a look, my friend. Search did not come up with clear, relevant information on Dick and Maya's. Okay. Maybe if you have some information you want to share it, maybe just email it over to me. I'll take a look. But I have no idea who that is, my man. You know what, Tom? Even people that disagree with me or that don't like me, I still wish no ill will towards those people. There's some people that you're like, man, I can't believe that guy, but that's life. People are going to disagree with you. And I have learned that when somebody starts disagreeing with me, like, where are they getting the information from? Like maybe is there something that I don't know? Is there something that maybe I can learn from this person? Like, I think that has been one of the more stronger transitions that I've been able to make in my personal life recently. Like, before, it was like, anybody that disagrees with me, they're wrong, right? Now it's like, okay, like, what don't I know? Help educate me, right? And I think, like, if we could start building those bridges between people again, I think the world will be a little less crazy, man. Like we get into these information bubbles, right? Where it's me versus them, right? And it's not healthy, man. And opening up your lives to a little bit of disagreement and understanding, I think is pretty powerful. Yeah, man. A lot of really good stuff. Let's see here. Been in the XRP army since June. My concern is the amount of escrow. Seems like it will make it harder for price to boom. So Ace, like actually the escrow is probably one of the better things in like, you got to understand, without the escrow, that means you'd have all of that XRP circulating. And that means that all of that XRP could be like kaboomed at any time, right? And this actually gives you more stability in the market. And so maybe I'd be a little bit more hesitant on XRP if there wasn't the escrow. So I kind of see it a little differently from how you're seeing it. You know, we've heard from David Schwartz recently that escrow actually can be pre-bought, right? Those wallets can be pre-bought by financial institutions. And so you start to wonder who has pre-bought some XRP. And Ripple has been a very good steward of XRP. You know, over the last, you know, since they created this escrow, right? And so I see it as an advantage, but I can also see your opinion of it being a disadvantage, and you're concerned about it. I totally get that. It'll be interesting to see what the language is in the Clarity Act. If Ripple will have to disclose who owns some of that XRP, I think that would be very interesting. You know, we'll have to see what the language is on the Clarity Act once it's passed, because Ripple might have to own less than 20%. You know, that could obviously change, but if that happens, that is what I'm really waiting to see. Thank you for the donation. Soul Hefe is 913 as well. Well, my fellow Virgo, great to see you, man. What is your skincare routine? Actually, I have been working very hard on that. I wasn't for a long time in my life. I wasn't taking it seriously, but now I've got a nice 3-step process. My wife got me into this, you know. I will have to prepare what my like I have this it's like a Korean face wash, you know. Then you got to let that dry, and then you have a very thin layer, and then you got to let that dry, and then at the end you put a little face cream on. But yeah, I wasn't taking it very seriously, and I was like, oh man, I'm starting to see that. So I jumped on that really quickly, Brandon. But I'll bring the products next time. All right, you really want to know. Jay Claver has real voodoo. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I don't know what real voodoo means. Damn, Dylan says he'd pay to see that panel. I would pay to see that panel. Let's see here. Rob Moyer says, Sensei, it's a great evening. I think you're saying I'm new to crypto at 60, but loving the ride. You are one of my favorites. I'm glad you concentrate on XRP. We will hodl together. Rob, man, great to have you on this journey, bro. Thank you for the kind words. And isn't it awesome to get into something new that excites you? Like, that is what life is all about, man. So it is an absolute honor to be on this journey with you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So here, let's see. Dahlia says, I'm new to crypto space, but can someone advise me where and how to get and purchase XRP? So obviously that's, you know, financial advice. I can tell you kind of like what I do to buy XRP. So there's several exchanges that people use depending where you are in the world. You know, I've used Coinbase, I've used Uphold, Kraken are 3 really popular exchanges. Usually you create an account, you have to KYC yourself. Like, they need to know who you are, give you your ID and that kind of stuff. It's like you're opening up a bank account. And once you're able to verify all of that stuff and they can verify who you are, you're going to be able to connect your bank account to the exchange. and then you can just buy from your bank account. You can transfer money from your account to the exchange, and then you use that to buy XRP. That is one of the most basic ways to do it. You just got to figure out which exchange that you want to use, and there's fees and these types of things. But great question. Thank you for joining. Oh yeah, I've been watching Robinhood. That's a good show too. I just actually watched the 4th episode. Good. That's good, man. Thank you for bringing that up. Appreciate you. Brandon says, I really just pray Jay Claver is correct with his predictions. Brandon, I think all of us are praying that he's correct. I personally don't think XRP is going to $750 before the end of the year. And I don't think XRP will be $1,000 in the first month of 2026. Do I think XRP could reach $1,000, $5,000, $10,000? Absolutely. I've said that for the last 3 years, creating XRP content. And I thought that before I even started making XRP content. But, I don't feel that it is appropriate for me to get up here and to just put these crazy price targets in everybody's head and give them this, expectation of it's going to happen in the next month and a half. I do think this is going to be a more drawn out, slow-paced adoption. Is there a situation where the world collapses and you need XRP to, for liquidity? Absolutely. But you got to remember, if that happens, you're now living in a world where all of your friends and all of your family that don't own XRP are financially ruined, and that's going to be really tough, right? Because you're going to want to go out and spend all your money and be flashy and maybe help people, whatever you plan to do with your money. I don't know, right? Everyone's going to be different, but you got to remember the people that are around you that are now going to be affected by the total collapse of the bond market, the stock market, all of these things. Those people are going to be hurting really bad, right? And that's something that I'm not hoping or praying for. Like I'd rather have it more drawn out. I'd rather wait a few years and do it kind of through general adoption than having markets totally collapse and basically the world go into financial ruin to just get rich. Like I'm not hoping for that, man. Yeah. But he also says, like, listen, we can go back and forth on what he says and he doesn't say. I've played a lot of his clips, but he also says, if it's going to happen, but it's going to happen, right? He always says it's going to happen, right? So like, you can say that, you can defend him, you can do whatever you want. It is what it is. But like, I can bring up 100 clips of Jake saying that and then telling you it's definitely going to happen. So, is he starting to walk back some of the things that he said? Yes, absolutely. But he also doubles down, right? Just, I guess, what day you catch him on. Man, there's just so many comments. It is, oh my God, there's just like 100 more. Jake being half right is okay. I mean, yeah. I think we all want to see a high price for XRP. We're going to find out, Husker. We're going to find out, man. We're going to find out together. That's what's exciting, right? And it's okay to disagree. It's okay to question it, right? Like, I think people, like, I think too many people are just, we're just going to accept whatever this person says and we're going to defend them until we're blue in the face, right? Never understanding that maybe this person doesn't know everything, right? Maybe this person, like, you know what? Let's just let it play out, man. Like, I'm just kind of a little tired of talking about him at this point, Richard says, I watch every video you post the second they post. I love the constant updates on XRP. I'm investing in crypto as well and just wanted you to know if you have any interest or options in other cryptos. So Richard, like, there's a lot of different cryptos that people talk about here every time we stream. Some of those cryptos that are mentioned are like XLM, HBAR, Ondo, God, there's I think Ethereum, Solana, right? Man, lot of really good assets, man, out there. A lot of really good assets. Yeah, Clarity Act is going to be really, really important, man. Jake can always return to bodybuilding. Well, I mean, like he's got all of his side businesses, right? Like, you know, he helps people set up LLCs, which is really important, I think. I think like he's got this fund thing, right? Like I don't really know too much about it. I don't spend time researching that. I know that the fund hadn't done too well in the last few months, but I think those are the things you need to look on an annual basis. You know, people are going to buy into what he's saying. People are going to buy into his products, and that's what he wants, right? Like every video that he puts out, he's pushing people into his products, and that's what he's there to do. I just have a different approach, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. You know, it's working for him, and he's going to continue to do it. And I wish him and Max and all the people at Digital Wealth Partners, I wish them all the success in the world. Like I am not actively rooting against Jake. Just want to make that absolutely clear. I want, because like Jake's customers are fans of this channel too. And I want those people to be successful, right? And like, I think we've all done things in our past that maybe we regret today, and we're trying to maybe atone for some of that stuff. And I think that's what maybe he's doing, you know? So I'll continue to root for him, but I will also continue to question some of the things that he says. And I think there's value in both of those things. Oh yeah, XTC. Sorry, like I could list 100 tokens up here, but like I you know, XTC is also something mentioned a lot. Yeah, I am not. So like I'm not in ZBIC. I missed that one, and I don't know. I just didn't ever kind of connect with that one. I didn't you know. I know Zach. I think Zach was the one that called it really early. But just remember when you start, you know, oh, excuse me. I thought you said staking. It's stacking. Yeah, I'm not on that one, man. But I think there's a lot of good research out on that. I just thought there was some weird stuff early on in that one, and I was just not sure. But you know, hey man, the people that called it, the people that are making money on that, more power to you, man. I love to see people succeed. Javier, Sensei, you rock. Constant quality info, humility, joy, posture, and joyful posture and no hocus pocus. Keep up the good work. Javier, it is an honor, man. Pleasure being on this journey with you, man. It really is. Yeah, man. I think, and not to keep talking about this, but like, I think he came in and offered products that the community really needed. And I think that is brilliant. That is what every good business person does. They find something that there's a need and they go fill that need, right? And you gotta respect the hustle and just the sheer force of nature that is Jay Claver, you know. And you know, like I said, I'm rooting for him. Roz, great to see you. How's it going? Lust, great to see you. You always come a little late, like as we're kind of winding down. We've had a great chat. We've answered a lot of questions. Mike, I forgot like all the news. Oh my goodness. Well, we've answered a lot of things, you know. I think maybe like I just need to stream and answer questions, and then I just need to stream and do news. You know, like I can sit up here all day and answer as many questions as I can. That's great, Husker. That's great, man. It's good to work with good companies, man. You got to. What's up, Poppy? How's it going, dude? Yeah, guys, we got about, there's 1,169 people watching on X, and there's 357 people watching here on YouTube. 1,531 total. Really appreciate all the support, guys. Having a better night now? Was I having a bad night before? Miss you? You're so weird. You're so weird, dude. But I like it. I like the weirdness. Hello, Crypto Sensei. Your videos are so informative. I started watching Jay Claver videos, Cheeky Crypto, and your XRP, your 4XRP point of view. Great, man. I would say that, you could definitely take a look at Zach Rector. I think Black Swan Capitalist has some really great and interesting info. Oscar is really good too. There's a lot of really incredible content creators in the XRP space, man. It's just, I'm thankful to be just one of these people. There's some big shoes to fill, and it's really cool that I can step in and share this love and passion with you, man. I think people can feel it, right? And that's what's powerful. Has the Franklin Templeton ETF made us rich yet? No. So hasn't really launched yet, right? You got the CBOE version, but that's on a much smaller it's on the CBOE, CBOE. You really want the larger version, the $30 trillion one to launch. So Crypto Prince, Will, what's up, dude? Great to see you. XRP Sensei Army at ease. Man, I can tell you that the XRP community is by far the best and greatest community in crypto. Like I've been around the crypto space for the last five plus years. I've seen a lot of communities, and there is no community that even stacks up close to the intelligence, passion, love, commitment. Everybody shows up all the time for it. Like you cannot buy that level of support. And that is a force of nature all by itself. Do we have a launch date for the larger FT? JTB, Franklin Templeton should, like, when we looked at this earlier, we saw the 24th, Monday, as a date that it should launch. Yes, sir. Let's see here. Undercover. Hey, Sensei, you're a good guy, and you know not to take everything too serious. Yeah, man, you can't. Like it'll kill you, man, if you take everything too seriously. Poppy, there is no community that's better, man. But you're gonna tell me, what community do you think is better? Kryptonaires community. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. You missed the show. You missed a good show, man. We had a lot of really good conversations today. I think we answered maybe like 150 questions. My voice is gone at this point. Are other coins you're invested into? I have a diverse amount of XRP, 6% of mine. I mean, like some of the stuff we've already mentioned, like HBAR, some Stellar. I'd like some more Chainlink if I really could. I have a small amount of XDC. I got a handful of like some virtuals tokens, and then like I did some pre-sale and some other tokens, but nothing like the most serious amount of money I have is an XRP. Like, and that's really that. I think that's really mostly what I've focused on these days. Just buying as much as I can. You forgot to mention XRP OG Alex Cobb. Like, I never watched Alex, man. Sorry. Is he still around? I have no idea, bro. It's hard to know everybody, and thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. Tom, what's up, Tom, for Luna? You guys want to see Luna? I'll get Luna. Hold on. Hey, little bear. You want to say hi? Oh, come here. I know. All right, here we go. You want to say hi? Huh? Oh, we were sleeping. Dad woke me up. How's my baby, huh? Yes. You all right? Is it almost time to go outside? Yes. Yes, we're going to go pee on some poles. Hmm? Hmm? All right. Luna needs her own pod. I'll second that. I'll second that. The weather in Hawaii, I think it's sunny out there. Let me see. Weather in Hawaii, 79 out there. And it's 3:16. So you know what? This is about the time I take Luna for a walk. So listen, guys, I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody that spent the time, left comments, joined the conversation. We have John Pack, a new member. We have MNN Hawk with the 199, Atticus, Jayhawk Nation, Atticus again, Oscar Ramos joining the Sensei Nation here. We got Husker Nation, Ace Gonzalez, and Tom, and everybody else. I want to thank OSOK. I want to thank Ariana. I want to thank Christopher and all the other mods that kept the chat safe. And, thank you for allowing me to be in your lives every day and have this opportunity to share my passion and your passion. And I will see you guys again on Friday. All right. All right. Aloha, guys. I'll see you. Peace.